Alright guys, well I'm back today with an overview of the Charter Arms Pathfinder chambered in 22 long rifle. This is an 8-shot 22 LR revolver with single and double action modes and a fairly ergonomic grip. It's really competing with a lot of other revolvers on the market that climb upwards in price of $600 to $700. For some reason, it's hard to find good, affordable 22 long rifle, kind of snub-nosed compact double and single action revolvers. Now, the Charter Arms was well under $400, and we picked this up in a pawn shop find video, so definitely go back and look at some of those videos. I've also reviewed some of the Tauruses as well as the Smiths, so it was about time I grabbed one of these. We took it out to the range during that pawn shop find video, started shooting it, and noticed right off the bat it was having light primer strikes in double action mode. Now, there was no light primer strikes in single action mode, and no matter what ammo I used, I could not get this to function a full cylinder in double action mode without having light primer strikes. I called Charter Arms. They responded incredibly quick, sent me a free shipping label to fix everything. They fixed it. It took about 2.5 to 3 weeks, and then they sent it back. And it might have been a little bit longer than 3 weeks. I have to look, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't overly long, and it was right around the holidays, so it made sense. When it came back, they sent me a little form that said exactly what they fixed, and they resolved the issues 100%. Now, occasionally you will get a gun that's a lemon, so I'm not going to hold this against them, but I'm definitely a fan of their customer service. They were responsive. They were quick. They didn't ignore the problem like so many companies do. They figured it out, they fixed it, and they shipped it back all for free, so we are good to go, and this thing's running great down at the range. Now, let's start with the grip, work our way to the barrel, and talk about its performance down at the range. Now, the grip itself is a little bit large for maybe a concealed carry or pocket carry, but it's a great grip that really fills up your hand and is incredibly comfortable with nice texturing, and it puts everything in a great position. It's a nice angle, it rounds up smooth to actuate the hammer, your finger fits nicely in the trigger, and it keeps it away from the hammer as you're firing in double action mode. So that's great right off the bat. One thing to note is it's fairly lightweight, so this would be a great bug out gun or prepping gun or car gun because of the ability to hold 8 shots at 22 long rifle, maybe load this thing up with some stingers or something like that. And it's fairly lightweight if you had to throw it in your pack and hike somewhere. The other cool thing about this is the trigger guard is fairly large, but not overly large. It fits gloved fingers rather nicely, again, lending it pretty cool for like a bug out gun. To actuate the cylinder, you press this in, and everything about this feels okay, just kind of okay. Cocking the hammer is not the smoothest. The Smiths and Tauruses are a little bit better than that. The cylinder latch feels, okay. It works every time you need it to. Don't get me wrong, but there's more refined versions and some of the more expensive versions of this gun, like the Smith. To eject the rounds, though, with this push rod, that actually works out great. It kicks all 8 rounds out every time, even when it's getting a little bit dirty, and the lockup on the cylinder is pretty darn good. You get a little wobble right there, but overall, this hasn't loosened up a ton. So that lockup is, again, you can get a little bit better on a Smith, something like that. So just across the board, this is a good general purpose revolver chambered in 22. The sights in this guy are fairly adequate, nothing to write home about. The fit and finish is, again, pretty decent. You have some two-tone color variations between the barrel and the frame itself. Again, not a big deal at all. It just kind of is what it is. And down at the range, it shot pretty good. The single action mode on this was pretty crisp. It shot nice once they fixed it, and the double action mode is fairly smooth. And again, I mean, nothing to write home about. Now, it's not great, it's not bad. It's just a good general purpose revolver. Now, once it was fixed and down at the range, I put about 150, 200 rounds through it with no failures, no hiccups. But what I noticed was certain copper-plated 36 grain Federal, this was keyholing at 7 yards. I've never seen a revolver do that. But with every other ammo, CCI mini mags, CCI standard velocity, the Federal lead nose 36 grain, All shot great and was plenty accurate enough for a snub-nosed 22 revolver. So it only didn't like one particular round, which lends me to think it was that particular round just not liking the rifling, such short rifling on this, and that's why it was keyholing. So something to consider if you're purchasing this pistol. Try a couple loads if you're having some accuracy problems. I found that CCI mini mags work best, and it shoots everything else just fine, but you will have, at least I had personally had some keyholing with 36 grain copper wash Federal, and that was the only round that did that. In summary, this is a good, solid gun, and despite some initial problems, I like it. I recommend it, and I would grab it again, no doubt, especially with the fact that Charter Arms takes care of their customers. I've purchased new guns before, called companies, I've sent guns back, and they've sent them back still broken. Nothing frustrates me more than waiting for your gun to be fixed and nothing has changed. Charter Arms really detailed out exactly what they did. They fixed it. It's working great. I can definitely recommend it, knowing, though, its strengths and its weaknesses versus the price of right around $350. I feel like it's worth it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.